Good evening. Welcome to the June 16, 2020 Planning Commission meeting. I'd like to call it to order. I'd like to point out that this meeting is being hosted live stream on the city's website and by teleconference for public comment. To accommodate public comment during this meeting, we've made temporary changes to the agenda that were necessitated to comply with COVID-19 directives. If you're attending by teleconference, please be advised that your phone will be muted until such time of public comment period. Having said that, this is a public meeting. Everyone will be heard that wants to be heard. Roll call, HB.
Commissioner Wiensdorfer?
Here.
Commissioner Lieberton?
Here.
Commissioner Van Arsdale?
Here.
Vice Chair Wood?
Here.
Chair Overmeyer?
Here. The invocation and flag salute, please join me by standing and remain standing for the invocation, please.
Thou, Ocio,
Has joined the conference.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, thank you for the opportunity for us to come together in person and work together to help advance development in our community. And we pray for civil discourse and for wisdom on the commissions.
Anthony Fossey, with W.
Has joined the conference.
Number 4 is the approval of minutes for May 19th, 2020. Do we have any discussion or changes?
Move approval of the minutes of May 19th.
Second. Okay, roll call vote. Commissioner Wiensdorfer?
Aye.
Commissioner Lieberton?
Aye.
Commissioner Van Arsdale?
Aye.
Vice Chair Wood?
Aye.
Chair Overmeyer?
Aye.
Russell Rumensoff.
4B is the
Has
approval of
joined the
minutes of
conference.
Planning Commission meeting of June 2nd. Motion or any changes for the June 2nd meeting? Did anybody see it? Okay, good.
I move that we approve the minutes from the meeting of June 2nd, 2020.
I'll second.
Commissioner Wiensdorfer?
Aye.
Commissioner Lieberton?
Aye.
Commissioner Van Arsdale?
Aye.
Vice Chair Wood?
Aye.
Chair Overmeyer?
Aye. And number 5 is the public comment period, the rules of decorum and resolution. At this time, members of the public may only comment on an item appearing on the agenda tonight. Please adhere to the following in addressing the commission. Comments will be limited to 2 minutes or less. Comments should be directed to the commission as a whole and not to individual commissioners. Please adhere to the adopted rules of decorum. That's resolution number 4545.
The item's not on the agenda. All right.
Could you go ahead and hear me now?
A little bit.
A little bit better? I'm going to have to yell into it. This is actually for comments that are not on,
Thank
the
you.
agenda. Thank you.
I thought we changed. It says comments, an item appearing on the agenda. Okay, thank you. Members of the public shall comply with the adopted rules of decorum, Resolution 4545, a copy of which can be requested through the city clerk's office. You may also fill out a form and submit your comments online at www.hemet.ca.gov/councilchamberlive, and it will be read aloud. Submittal must be done before 2 p.m. the day of the meeting, so that's gone. For those who wish to join by teleconference, you'll be able to join by calling. Hopefully everybody knows that, but 888-585-9008. When prompted, dial 743-463, 604. That's 743-463-604 and the pound sign. You will be asked for your name prior to speaking. Reminder, if you're joining by teleconference, please mute your phone to prevent noise interference until you are given time to provide public comment. Please state your name and item you're commenting on before speaking. Item number 6 is continued items. A is the site development review number 20-002, the Latham. Good evening, Soledad.
Good evening. Good evening, Commissioners, Mr. Chairman, and staff, and members of the public. Tonight I'm going to be presenting Site Development Review 20-002, the Latham. The applicant is U.S. Pacific Capital.
Now be recorded.
The agent is Russell Rumensoff, and the location is on the south side of Latham, east of Lyon, and west of Elk Street. This site development review was normally scheduled on June 2nd. Due to technical difficulties, it was continued to June 16th for tonight. Site development review application is for a 3-story, 120-unit independent and assisted living senior apartment on 3.31 acres. The outdoor recreation include a 40 by 60 lap pool, a 90 by 10 bocce ball court, and barbecue area. The indoor recreation area or amenities include a beauty salon, library, gym, theater, game area, lounge, and chapel. Staff mailed notifications of the public hearing to the surrounding property owners and tenants within a 500-foot radius of the project. The project was also advertised in the Press Enterprise on May 22nd, 2020. Staff did receive one email from the public from Ms. Mari, who requested plot plans, elevation drawings, layout, and plan review and drawings. She was concerned about parking, ingress and egress to the site, and staff did email a copy of the plans to Ms. Mari. Here we see the general plan land use designation. It's very high density, 30 to 45 dwelling units per acre. The zoning is R4, which is 45 dwelling units per acre. Here we see an aerial view of the site. Here's Lyon, here's Latham, Mobile Home Park, Salvation Army is here. Here we see a site plan, ingress and egress on the west side, ingress and egress on the east side, entry to the main entrance here, swimming pool, bocce ball would be here, barbecue area here, and parking. Here we see elevations. We also have a color board and materials board for you to see. First floor, this is the ground floor. Second floor and third floor. Here are the units. Type A is a studio, 550 square feet. Unit B is a 1-bedroom, 546 square feet. And Unit C, which is a 2-bedroom, 879 square feet. Hemet Municipal Code Section 90-387-2 states that the interior area of individual senior housing units may be reduced below the minimum floor area per unit required in Section 90-385, provided that the additional square footage is allocated to common area activity centers of facilities. So we can see that Studio A was reduced by 45 square feet. There are 47 units, so it's a total of 2,115 square feet. The 1-bedroom unit was reduced by 54 square feet. There are 55 units for a total of 2,917. This total, the 5,085, is added to the minimum requirement of 1,600 for a total of 6,685 square feet of indoor recreation area. There are 6,056 square feet on the first floor and 5,502 on the second floor for a total of 11,558 square feet. And these amenities and recreation area, again, include a beauty salon, library, gym, theater, game area, lounge, chapel. The project complies with the provisions of the Hemet Municipal Code related to site development review applications. The project remains consistent with the multiple family design guidelines and the City of Hemet Municipal Code in the general plan. This project is exempt from the provisions of the California Environmental Quality Act, Section 15332, which is infill. This project is consistent with the general plan designation of very high density, and it is located within the boundaries of the City of Hemet and has no value as habitat for endangered, rare, or threatened species, which are all criteria of the infill exemption. Staff's recommendation is to adopt Planning Commission Resolution number 2020-011, approving Site Development Review 20-002, subject to conditions of approval, and direct staff to file a notice of exemption with the county clerk. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Soledad. Questions for staff? This one's been on the books for a while, huh? According to the staff report, it started in 96 and then 98. Been around.
Been around.
Eventually gets done.
Yeah. Anything for staff?
This is a 55 plus, right?
It's a senior and assisted living facility. I believe the applicant is on the teleconference.
Okay, well then I will open the public hearing, and if we can hear from,
Has joined the conference.
if we can hear from the applicant on 20-002, the Latham, please state your name and address for the record.
Russell Rumensoff. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Russell.
Russell Rumensoff, 530 St. John Place, Hemet, representing the applicant. We have, this has been going on for a while. The plans have been updated to current codes, however, current California building codes also. And we did review all the conditions of approval and did agree with all the conditions. We had no issues with any conditions. And we would appreciate it if the Planning Commission could grant approval tonight and we could get started again. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Yes, and we apologize for the June 2nd. It was technical in nature. We had to have the public comment, and we weren't able to do that, so thank you for your patience. Is there any comment or questions for the applicant?
I do want to let you know that I reached out to Marianne Mari. She's somebody I've known for many years, and she got the information from you. She appreciated it, she said, and she had come to the conclusion that that would be a project that would be beneficial to the mobile home park that she owns there at Devonshire Downs. So I think she got her answers from the information you sent.
Good. Anything else? Is there anybody by teleconference that would like to speak to this matter? Anyone? Okay, we're not hearing anybody. So how about e-comments? Any comments by email? No. Okay, seeing that, there are no emails on this. And so I will close the public hearing. And any comments or questions, discussion you'd like to hear?
No, just good to see it going.
Yeah.
I'd like to move and thank you for keeping it senior, Mr. Applicant.
Yes, thank you.
Move that the Planning Commission adopt Resolution Bill number 2020-011, approving Site Development Review number 20-002, subject to the conditions of approval, and direct staff to file a notice of exemption with the county clerk.
Second.
Commissioner Bienstofer,
Aye.
Commissioner Lieberton,
Aye.
Commissioner Van Arsdale,
Aye.
Vice Chair Wood,
Aye.
Chair Overmeyer.
Aye. So it is approved. Patience, good things come to those who wait. Thank you, Russell.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, item B is the site development review of number 20-001, Seasons at McSweeney Farms.
Good evening, Chairman Overmeyer, the Planning Commission, and members of the community. I'm Monique Allen Slater, the project planner for SDR 20-001, Seasons at McSweeney Farms, as proposed by Richmond American Homes. The applicant is requesting approval of site development review 20-001 for the architectural review of 77 single-family residential lots on 18.2 acres within tract number 33824-1 of the McSweeney Farms Specific Plan number 01-2. The property is located on the southeast corner of McSweeney Parkway and Village Loop. Primary access into the development is taken from State Street to the west. The entire tract 33824 encompasses planning area A9 and 12 and includes a total of 238 single-family lots, including 13 lettered lots within 58 acres of land. The subject property is zoned planning area 9 R-1
Has joined the
6500
conference.
average zoning with a minimum lot size of 5,500 square feet. This property is located in the general plan, land use designation of low medium density residential, 5.1 to 8 dwelling units per acre, with an overall proposed density of 4.2 dwelling units per acre. Surrounding land uses include vacant parcels planned single-family residential to the north and south, Cactus Valley Wash Basin and planned single-family residential to the east. To the west is McSweeney Park and a future school site of 12 acres. To the west of the school site is developed with single-family residential houses currently built and occupied. The Hemet Municipal Code, Section 90-48.1A, requires site development review by the Planning Commission for a proposed architecture, plotting of the homes, front yard landscaping, and fencing for the underlying tract map and the city zoning code for all residential projects of 5 lots or more. The applicant is proposing 3 different floor plans. The proposed home sizes within the neighborhood range from 2,082 square feet to 2,673 square feet. The proposed product includes a mix of Spanish, cottage, and Italian-influenced architectural design elements that blend in well with the existing homes in the surrounding neighborhood. The units propose a combination of stucco, vertical banding, cement siding, thematic columns, stone brick, ornamental details, rafter tails, shutters, window and door trim, natural earth tones, color palette with trim accent, lighting accent, and concrete tile roof design that are compatible with the chosen architectural style of the homes. The first plan is the single-story plan, the Agate S922, which includes a 2,082 square foot, 1-story residence with 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths with an attached 456 square foot 2-car garage and optional patio at rear and optional flex bedroom 4. The La Peace plan, which is a 2-story, includes a 2,179 square foot 2-story residence with 3 bedrooms and 2.5 baths with an attached 428 square foot 2-car garage, optional patio, fireplace in the great room, enclosed study room, and optional conversion of loft area into a 4th bedroom. The third plan is the Tourmaline 934, which includes a 2,652 square foot 2-story home, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath residence with attached 453 square foot 2-car garage, optional covered patio, conversion of loft area to 4th bedroom, and optional 5th bedroom, which is a conversion of the study room on the 1st floor. As illustrated in the plotting plan provided, the homes and garages on the lots provide a varied streetscape and front yard setback. The 1- and 2-story dwelling configuration provides variety and minimizes concentration of 2-story units in a row throughout the subdivision. Based on the plotting of the plan, citing a mix of homes, the lots that are marked with a star cannot accommodate the covered patio option because they cannot comply with the minimum rear yard patio setback. These are specifically the single-story plans. A condition of approval requires that the builder discloses to the buyer that those covered patio options are not available for those lots. As shown in the illustrative landscape plan, the project includes 1 street tree per home with a mixture of shrubs and ground cover and additional landscaping within the right-of-way.
Barbara Murakami has joined the conference.
The project will include drought-tolerant planting. Interior fencing will consist of vinyl material with the exception of the corner lot and wall returns that will include decorative block wall construction. Additionally, tubular view fencing with thematic pilaster stone columns, rock masonry, or stucco will be provided where adjacent to open space or perimeters, generally located on the southerly border of the subdivision where it is adjacent to a future for sale. In conclusion, staff finds that the proposed development is in compliance with the McSweeney Farm specific plan, the single-family design guidelines, and the city's general plan. The City Council adopted an environmental impact report by Resolution 3779 on November 10, 2003 for the specific plan, and notice of determination was filed in accordance with CEQA requirements on November 12, 2003 and April 11, 2006 for the tentative tract map, and is consistent with CEQA guidelines section 15162. Property owners within a 500-foot radius were notified of the public hearing on May 22nd with a 10-day hearing notice, in addition to a public notice in the press enterprise. Therefore, staff concludes and recommends that the Planning Commission adopt Planning Commission Resolution Bill number 20-01812, approving SDR 20-001, subject to the conditions of approval. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you very much. Questions for staff?
Thank you. I know this has been a long time coming. Does this have does this phase or this track have any bearing on the other improvements that are pending, the bridge, the signals? Is there any tie between those two?
With regard to the drainage,
The bridge that goes to the recreation center, and then there was a couple signals on State Street. They came a couple months ago for bonds on that, and then the park improvement. Is there any connection between these homes being occupied and those projects moving forward, or are those separate from each other?
Those are separate from this particular project. One of the components on this project is that because of the pads were not certified yet, the Raintree, the developer, will actually pay for the flood insurance for all these homes until such time those get certified. So until the Clomar and Lomar get certified, they'll continue to pay for the flood insurance for all of those homes that are pending. Any other development will have to be stalled until those improvements are made. So this tract is the only one that can go forward with that component.
Gotcha. So this is the last one that on that first phase. Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Is it the last one, or is it this one and the one to
So it's the same tract number?
Same tract number
right.
total?
Right.
Okay.
I haven't been out there for a while. How many houses, or how many are left? How much is there? Is this thing about half built out, or where are we at on that? You know?
It's like which side of the wash are you on? I think this is the last track on the south side of the wash.
Is the clubhouse is open, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Maybe not for coronavirus, but yeah.
Yeah. It was open.
Yeah.
Okay.
And all the parks and everything, correct.
Okay.
I do have a question though. I don't have Wi-Fi, so I can't reflect back to the pictures of the lots. But on there, it indicates the existing wall being a rock wall on the outside. I know that community has rock walls around the outer perimeter of the entire community. So it is a uniform-looking building structures, colors, everything's uniform. And is there an existing wall of rock wall on the outside of that?
That's a good point that you make. That was an error that was found on the plans, and there's not an existing perimeter wall now. It will be proposed.
Oh, proposed, okay. I understand there's vinyl fencing, so, and the rest of it is stone wall, the rock wall.
The vinyl fencing that's the further exterior, and then the block wall is on the interior. Is that because
That is correct, and that currently exists within the land, the trail within the right of way.
When you say proposed, do you mean that's what they will do when they build these homes?
The perimeter block wall will be constructed with the development. It is not existing at this time. The vinyl fencing referred to is on the exterior, the trail area, and then there will also be vinyl fencings within the interiors of the development.
Between the houses?
Between the houses.
Okay. All right. So that is mandated, though, by they will definitely do the perimeter wall.
Yes, that is.
Okay.
So moving down McSweeney Parkway, there's a detour around where the future bridge is going to be. I think the streetscape there stops somewhere about a third of the way down from the intersection.
Right after the roundabout.
Yeah. So are they improving the streetscape and all the way down to the limit of work there? And is that impacted by the future bridge abutment?
It's only one lot that doesn't have it, John. You can see there is to the other lots.
Oh, it goes all the way down. Okay.
Yeah, there is already
I thought it stopped.
landscaping it.
I thought it stopped right by the roundabout closer, but okay.
There's walk path and everything all the way down except like the last lot, whatever that top far right lot is.
I think I noticed that there was 3 of the, 9 schemes that have siding. Is that consistent with what's there? I know for years it was just all stucco, and now we've added siding, and it looks a lot better when there's more treatments like that. So I think there's 3 with siding. Is that what's going on in the rest of the project?
So on the single-story plan, they are proposing brick base with window treatments, shutters, window treatments, and then a Spanish-style elevation, which would not have, would only have exterior stucco and shutters. The front elevation of these plans are limited in terms of the materials. There's also some treatment on the front elevation of the Agate S922B. And the Lapis, they introduced additional materials. We did ask them to provide additional treatment based on our survey of the neighborhood. And they are also providing brick base treatment and window treatments and shutters on the...
Okay, so the veneer was something that you asked them to do to dress it up a little bit?
We did ask them to provide additional, and then the proposed, there'll be additional treatment required on the corner lots and those that back up to the roadway.
Okay, so the rear elevation that backs up, you asked for additional treatments?
The condition of approval will require that additional treatment at the rear elevation.
Is that, what is that? Is that just shutters, things like that?
It could be additional shutters or with direction from a planning commission, additional treatments.
Okay. Okay. And then the percentage of 2-story, I know it's in the staff report, but I forget what's,
yes.
Is it about two-thirds?
The percentage is between the two, roughly 70%. 31% is allocated for single story.
Okay. Okay. Anything else for staff? Okay, then I will open the public hearing. Is the applicant here or available by teleconference?
Yes, sir. Applicant is here. My name is RJ with Virtual American Homes. I'm the project manager. I just wanted to say thank you to all the departments, notably planning, for the assistance and engagement, working with us through this development to make sure that it was consistent with a specific plan and the vision of the city. I drove around myself and I could see the direction they were going, and we wanted to make sure to be consistent with that direction. So I'm glad we were able to work together and make that happen. We're excited about this project. Look forward to being a part of the building up of the city of Hemet, and notably McSweeney, because it is a great area. So I just want to say thank you, everyone, for that.
Great, and welcome. Just to back up a little bit, would you state your address for the record, please?
391 North Main Street, Corona, California.
Thank you. Okay, thank you for being here, or for calling in. Is questions for the applicant? Anyone? Okay, is there anyone that would like to speak to this that is here? Seeing none, is there anyone by teleconference that would like to speak to this project? This is the 20-012 Seasons at McSweeney Farms. Going once. Okay, seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Anything that we'd like to talk about in this one? We can't wait for you to build.
Yeah, please hurry.
All right. Thank you very much. Anything else? I entertain a motion.
Need a motion?
I move that the Planning Commission adopt Planning Commission Resolution Bill number 20-012, approving SDR 20-001, subject to the Commission's of approval.
I'll second.
Commissioner Gieshofer?
Aye.
Commissioner Lieberton?
Aye.
Commissioner Van Arsdale?
Aye.
Vice Chair Worth?
Aye.
Chair Overmeyer?
Aye. And it is approved. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And C is the Site Development Review number 20-004 Citrus Point.
Chairman, I'd like to let you know that I have a conflict of interest. I live adjacent to this property, and I will be recusing myself.
Bye, Lori. Is this your Soledad? All right.
I'm going to be presenting Site Development Review 20-004, Citrus Point. D.R. Horton is the builder. The location is the northeast corner of Florida Avenue and Lake Street, and the description is the design and architectural review of 74 single-family residential lots within tract number 31620 and 31620-1, and 6 single-family residential lots within tract 25168-1. The general plan land use designation is low-density residential. The zoning is R1, which is single-family. 7.2 denotes the lot size. Here's an aerial view of the proposed development. Here we have a breakdown of the lots within tract 25168-1. These are 6 lots. Here is a location of 31620-1, and this is 50, here's 31620, this is the 47 lots, and then this here, sorry, I have the breakdown, the 27 lots of 31620-1. Also want to point out that we are also discussing Lot 48, which is this area here. This is a revised plotting received by staff. Here it has a breakdown of the number of the 1-story, 2-story, and 3-story. It's also in the staff report. The landscape typical shows a street tree in the parkway, a tree for every front yard. There's also turf, and there's also ground cover that is proposed for landscaping. The project is also proposing vinyl fencing for the interior lots with vinyl gates. The perimeter will have block wall, and that's a decorative split face block wall, which will be along Lake Street and Florida Avenue and the east side of the development. Here we see the 1-story elevations in Tuscan, Spanish, and traditional style. The floor, and here are some of the side elevations. Floor plan. This is a 2-story plan, 2,239 square feet. Traditional Spanish Tuscan. side elevations and rear elevations, floor plan. Here we see the third plan, which is a two-story, 2,435 square feet, the Tuscan, the Spanish, the traditional. Here are the color scheme combinations that are proposed for the homes. Pretty neutral, different combinations of colors for the trim, the roof. Of the single-story, 1,898 square foot plans, there are 28 being proposed. Of the second, of plan number 2, which is a two-story, 4-bedroom, 3 baths and loft, 25 being proposed. Plan 3, two-story, 2,435 square feet, 27 of those homes being proposed. The Hammock Municipal Code allows for the major site development review for the design and architecture of single-family homes. The Hammock Municipal Code 90-48.1A gives Planning Commission authority to review, impose conditions of approval which pertain to the development of the property and approval or to deny the site development review. Property owners and tenants within a 500-foot radius of the project were notified of the public hearing on May 22nd with a 10-day hearing notice in addition to the public notice in the press enterprise. Staff also received concerns from adjacent property owners as follows. Mr. John Petty did write into the city, and many of these comments are in the staff report, and they were as an attachment. His concerns had to do with compatibility of the proposed architecture, number of stories, massing, quality, two-story homes backing to an arterial roadway, location of model home complex sign, and inability of home builder to install the scenic highway landscaping within Lot 48 along Florida Avenue due to non-ownership. Ms. Carol Kendrick brought up concerns regarding consistency with the adjoining neighborhood development with single-story homes, compliance with the design guidelines, and development of the 25-foot scenic highway setback along Florida Avenue, the content of the resolution, and the inability to participate in the last Planning Commission meeting. Mrs. Davis Medal had concerns regarding compliance with the single-family design guidelines, non-development of the 27 lots located on the northeast corner of the tract, and dumping and trash and homeless in that area, property values, and request that the item to be continued until the public can attain or see this meeting live stream. Mr. Juan Rubio expressed concern regarding the massing of two-story homes as compared to the adjacent 137 single-family homes or the development adjacent to the north known as the Orchard. Mr. Larry Benson had concern regarding compatibility with the neighborhood and number of stories. Mrs. Sanjay Agarwal, she had concerns regarding character of the neighborhood, permitting 2 stories with no front porches, compatibility of Spanish-style architecture with the Orchards neighborhood to the north, and landscaping on Florida Avenue. Mr. Bilo had concerns regarding compatibility with the neighborhood and the number of stories. Additionally, staff has received more comments, and those were provided to you at the meeting tonight. And the breakdown of the concerns had to do, again, with 2-story compatibility with the existing neighborhood, architectural compatibility, the fencing backing the existing orchard, drainage, renoticing, fire station, CCNRs, property taxes, and lending practices. Some of these points have been addressed in the staff report, but staff can also address some of these points if they're brought up or if the commissioners request that information. The Planning Division recommends that the Planning Commission adopt Planning Commission Resolution number 2020-013, approving Site Development Review 20-004, subject to conditions of approval. I guess that was it. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you very much. Questions for staff?
I do have a few questions to ask. In reference to the Lot 48, as I spoke to HP about yesterday, all we're seeing on this project is just a shaded green being 48, but there's no drawing or layout as to the exact footage. How wide is 48?
It's 25 feet wide.
Okay, so what's the developer trying to do with 48? Is he just trying to bypass that altogether and just put the liability on that 48 lot?
The developer will be putting curb, gutter, and sidewalk along Florida Avenue and extending the road to the width that is required per Caltrans. The developer does not have access or ownership of Lot 48. That is in the ownership of someone else. And so at this time, there isn't anything that the developer can do with that property.
Also, just for the record, Councilmember Myers and I read some of the comments, and we went out there and reviewed some of the comments to see the concerns of the citizens there. And who is in charge of the weed issue? Because they are just as high as the walls behind their homes, and it's completely overgrown, and all it takes is one spark, and it is a very big concern for them. So who's in charge of the weeds itself?
Well, the property owner would be in charge. I'll let the developer is here present, so if he wants to address that issue, I'm sure that they will discuss that further, but typically it is the property owner.
Okay. And one other question for now. When it comes to the fencing with the white vinyl fence, with the current existing walls that are with the neighbors behind, I understand that the level of the ground is almost 6 feet above what the existing homes are below because of the level of elevation. What is his plan with the wall? Is he going to give the opportunity to replace the existing wall that's there that's not in the greatest condition, or is he just trying to back two walls up with the space in between?
The existing cedar fencing does belong to the property owners there now. The developer is proposing to build the vinyl fencing adjacent to that cedar fencing. It will be up to the property owners to remove that wood fencing if that's what they would like to do. If they would like to leave it there, that's also their decision.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I have a couple. You said the block wall, well, the perimeter wall will be along Highway 74 and Lake Street, but it's just turning that corner because there's houses on Lake, right? So it's just going to wrap around the corner. Okay.
Correct. And it'll also cross on Orange Grove.
Okay.
Because that home that's proposed will be facing Orange Grove, so there's going to be a side wall there too.
All right. I do have one other question, Chairman.
Go ahead.
Compared to like McSweeney's, when you drive through the flow of the neighborhood, they're consistent. They're uniform. 2-story, 1-story, 2-story. Why is the city and the developer agreeing to try to completely, it's a continuation of the same neighborhood, the streets are all connected. Why are they trying to build 2-story structures in a continuation of the same existing neighborhood?
Well, we did analyze the single-family design guidelines. We did look to see what is permitted in the R1, and 2-story is permitted. There are some criteria that should be met as far as different planes, pop-outs, different criteria that'll make it a more enhanced architecture. But there is no obligation on the part of the builder to stay consistent with the single story. And at this time, that is not what they are seeing as the viable product. And maybe at the time of the single story, that was what was occurring at that time. But times have changed. It's been 15, 16 years.
Okay, thank you. As regard to Lot 48, is that within the 25-foot Highway 74 scenic setback?
That is correct.
Okay, so that is the setback, or it's a part of it?
There's a right-of-way, which is from the curb to the sidewalk, which is right-of-way. That would be there regardless, and
right.
That's where D.R. Horton will be installing curb, gutter, and sidewalk. And then adjacent to that is the 25-foot wide strip known as Lot 48, which would typically have landscaping and different enhancements to make it a
Okay, so
nice.
the block wall is inside that.
And then the block wall is beyond at the 25 feet,
Okay.
and then bordering the residential lots.
So at this time, ostensibly, the 25-foot would just be there the way it is.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Anything else for staff?
Yeah. Just for clarity, is it 80 lots or 74 lots?
It is 80 lots because 6 are. I'll go back to. Oops, sorry, I went too far. Okay, so the 6 are these here, and the 72 are here and here.
Why are those 6 separate? Are those not apart?
These are part of the map that was a single story. This map was approved for, and I have the breakdown here.
So that's under the JDP development?
Correct, that were not built.
So those homes would not be built as part of this tract. Those homes would potentially be built at some other point on a previously approved.
Well, this tract map right here was for 65 homes. Out of the 65, 59 were built with single story. These 6 are left here. And D.R. Horton, this is part of the 80 lots that they purchased. These 6 and then these 72.
So are those 6 part of the new architecture?
They are part of the new architecture.
Gotcha.
They're 2-story.
So it's 80 lots?
80 lots total.
And then I'm going back to that lot 48. So the developer doesn't own it, and the conditions of approval, I'm a little concerned with the way that they're written, because it says that the developer has to do that at the end of everything. And so, is there anything else that, I mean, what leverage do we have to make sure that that gets done?
Well, at this point, the lots that are here, that are 27 lots that are part of tract 31620-1, there's an additional 27 lots here that we would hope that this development would be developing and paying for their portion of the 80 homes. The 27 lots would have a portion that they would be responsible for as well. D.R. Horton is proposing curb, sidewalk here.
Does D.R. Horton also own the 27 lots?
No, D.R. Horton does not own the 27 lots that are here.
Okay. And so, does the same entity that owns the 27 lots own the lot 48?
At this time, yes.
So there would need to be some agreement between those two developers in terms of purchase and improvement of lot 48.
Typically, lot 48 would have been a lettered lot, not a numbered lot, and it would have been dedicated to the city for the scenic highway setback. This lots were approved in 2003, and those actions did not take place at that time. Today, we're trying to work with what we have on the maps and in the way they have been developed.
Yeah, it seems like maybe there's some opportunity there to, and if this does get approved and get moved forward, is there, maybe we don't wait until all the lots are built and occupied before we say you got to construct landscape in the setback. There should be something a little sooner that gives the developer an opportunity to negotiate with the other property.
That would be what we would hope would happen, and in that way everyone could benefit. The new homes would benefit, and of course the entire tracts would benefit from that.
Yeah, but unless it's in the conditions of approval, we don't really have much say in that, right?
Correct, because the original conditions of approval for the map, this would have been started at that time if the conditions were adhered to back then.
But these conditions would supersede that?
Not for the map. This SDR is for the architecture, it's for the plotting, it's for the landscaping, and it's for the fencing. The track maps are existing, and they were finalized in 2003, and the conditions of approval are set, and they have been modified with regard to undergrounding, but that's a different subject if we want to discuss that later today.
Okay, so there'll be, I'm sure, more opportunities to talk about that as the discussion goes on, and then also the other issues that were raised. I'm sure we'll hear more about that. So that's all I have for right now. Thank you.
Well, Dad, I don't know if you know the answer, but do you understand why the city council waived the undergrounding? I know that when the Habit went in, they're redoing the shopping center down there. I mean, it was right on the corner of Highway 74 and Highway 79. It was really difficult to do that. I mean, they could have done it, but we waived it. Here, it's not. Yeah, we waived it, but out here, it's kind of out rural. Why did they waive that? Do you know?
Okay, there's two waivers that took place that affect Lake Street and affect Florida. And Lake Street from Lincoln up to this point, the poles, the power poles are above ground. So if D.R. Horton was going to underground, they would underground from this point to here. They found it that if there's already poles here, why make D.R. Horton underground just this area here if this area wasn't underground over here?
Same thing like with the Habit.
Okay. And then the other area that was waived is there is Edison power poles that come across here on the south side of Florida Avenue, and then they cross over to this area here, and we believe it's because there are some trees here. So the power poles jump across here, they go to two poles, and then they jump back over here and continue. So rather than have D.R. Horton underground these here for this limited area, that was waived. There are also some cables that run across here that D.R. Horton will underground to this point, and then because there's already Edison poles, leave these here and then underground the rest.
All right, thank you. Anything else?
I do have one more question on this before my time, but with Four Seasons, with the scenic highway setback, when they did that, I think it's much greater than 25 feet, but when Four Seasons proposed that, was the scenic highway already in place? So you can see that in the layout?
The scenic highway has
Kind of
been in place.
green like this.
Yeah, I believe it was adopted in 1990, the scenic highway setback.